Hello students, welcome to Programming with C and C++ online classes. Today I am going to start about the third unit concepts. In the third unit, we have the major concepts, nothing but functions, arrays, strings. So these three are the major concepts. So now let us understand about the functions. So step by step we have to learn in this session about the functions concept. Now shall I start our session? Okay. C functions. Now let us understand about the definition of C functions. One of the strengths of C language is C functions. Actually, C functions are the most important concept in the C programming language. They are easy to define and use. We can easily create functions in the C programming language, and also we can easily use them. A function is a subprogram which performs well-defined task. A function is a subprogram which performs well-defined task. Nothing but if you want to perform any operation, if you want to perform any specific task, for that you have to write the statements, performing task related statements what we have. So all those statements we have to write in one function. Nothing but in the complete program, if you have the 5 functions, so in that one function contains subpart. So that means it is also called a subprogram. A function is a subprogram which performs well-defined task. For example, if you take the bank project, in that whatever the options you have, deposit option, balance inquiry option, withdrawal option, net banking option, mobile banking option. So like that, each and every option has taken some specific task. So that related statements we have to write in the function. So for the deposit method, if you have the 100 lines of code, so that 100 lines of statements you need to write in function only. So then you can use the function easily. So that's why a function is a subprogram. A function is a subprogram which performs well-defined task. Because of here deposit method is performing which option, which process, which task it is going on. Because of it is taking deposit functionality. If the user want to deposit some amount in his bank account, so for that the bank clerk, he can call one deposit method. He can call one deposit function as per user requirement to deposit some amount in his bank account, right? So in that bank deposit function contains deposit related statements. So that's why it is a subprogram. Why? The bank contain number of functions. The bank project contains number of functions. So nothing but one of the function is deposit function, and second one is withdrawal function, and third one is balance inquiry function. Nothing but a bank project completely contains different services. So here each service call it as a one function. So if you write the all functions in the same program, so then it is called a program, complete bank project program. But here we are writing the program for the deposit function. So that's why it is called subprogram. It is called subprogram because of only deposit related statements we are writing in deposit function. And if you want to write the withdrawal function statements, so for that withdrawal function you have to create. So like that, for each and every function purpose we need to write one specific function to perform some specific action. So that is called function. Every C program at least one function. Every C program at least one function which is main, and the most trivial programs can be defined additional functions also. Nothing but, so each and every C program contain one main function. So without main function we can't execute the C program. Without main function we can't execute the C program. So that's why compulsory one function required na. So here main function is mandatory function for each and every C program to execute purpose, because of the execution control start from main function only. Execution control starts from only main function. So from that main function, if you want to call deposit method, only deposit function, only the deposit function only it will execute. If you want to call withdrawal function from the main function, so that related withdrawal function only it can be executed. As per user requirement, the bank clerk can call like that, can call the functions like that. So one program contain not only one function, so main function is mandatory. So as per your requirement, if you want to create your own functions in that C program, then you can define as many as you want, you can obviously create, no problem. So a program contain number of functions also according to our project requirement. If the project demand 100 functions, then you have to create 100 functions. Now, benefits of using the function in C. Benefits of using the function in C programming language. So, the first benefit is what? The function provides modularity. The function provides modularity. Nothing but here, instead of writing all statements in the single program, here we are using the functions now. So, that means the deposit method contain only deposit related statements na. So that's why the deposit function call it one deposit module. So that's why it is providing modularity. So if in your bank project, a deposit function and withdrawal function, net banking, mobile banking, balance inquiry, all these are called modules. Each one is called one module. So that's why a function provides a modularity, nothing but one related statements you need to write on that related function only. Okay, deposit method, deposit function contain deposit related statements, withdrawal function contain withdrawal related statements, balance inquiry function contain balance inquiry related statements. Like that, similarly mobile banking, net banking, because of banks providing a lot of, a huge amount of services for the users now. So that's why each and every service can perform a specific task. So that task related statements only it can place it into the function only, right? Next, a function provides reusable code. Once you write the code in the function, as many number of times the same code you can execute by calling that function only. So if you write the 100 lines of code in deposit function, so while running time, if you call one time the deposit method, then it will execute that 100 lines of deposit statements. But if you call one more time same function, the 100 lines of code it will execute one more time also. Here what it is going on, once you write the code, as many number of times you can call and execute the same code, same 100 lines of code as per our requirement. So number of times it can be executed the same code na. So that means once you write the code, that code you can reusing na. So that is the meaning of reusable code. A function provides the reusable code. So for example, if the bank in the bank four customers came. 4 customers having the deposit option. 4 customers want to deposit some amount. One customer want to deposit 500 rupees and second customer want to deposit 1000 rupees and third customer want to deposit 10,000 rupees and fourth customer also some amount he need to deposit. So for that, each and every time the deposit function you need to call for every user request. So similarly here 4 times you need to call deposit function. So 4 times it will be executed with the same code only for each and every user, but the data is different because of the first person is depositing 500 rupees and second person is depositing 10,000 rupees and third person is depositing 10,000 rupees. So like that, here the amount of deposit is data, but the function is common to all. So that's why for 4 users purpose we are calling the 4 times same function code, same deposit function. So 4 times it will be executed na? Nothing but once you write the code, as many number of times you can call that function as per your as per user requirement. Here user is nothing but a bank customer. In large programs, debugging and editing tasks is easy with the use of functions. For example, if you use the functions in your program contains 1 lakh lines of code. 1 lakh lines of code. So if you use the functions if you use the statements, if you use the 1 lakh statements without functions, then debugging and editing tasks are very critical. Nothing but because of deposit function contains 100 lines, net banking contains 1000 lines, and balance inquiry function contains 1500 lines of code. So if you write the code, if you write the statements in your functions, then that is very easy to test, very easy to checking, and very easy to modifying. That process is very dead easy because of the functions is providing the modularity. It is separating the entire program into some different pieces. Nothing but deposit is also one of the piece, and withdrawal is also one of the piece, and net banking, mobile banking, these all are providing different pieces of code. Nothing but that modularity. Dividend is divide statements are modules. In the module way, we are easily debugging and editing. But without using functions, all statements line by line, line by line, line by line, nothing but 1 crore lines you have to write in the program while developing time. So if the program contain wrong output, if the program showing wrong results, so that means you need to modify that program. You need to correct it. Am I correct or not? So that procedure is called debugging. But if you use the all 1 crore statements without using functions, the debugging process is nothing but the editing and correction process is very critical. To avoid all those things, for that purpose, they have introduced C programming functions. So that's why a functions is very important concept for the C programming language. Without the functions, nowadays you can't write the program because of it is separating the code from the entire code. It is dividing as a module. So each and every module having different functionality, performing some different task. The program can be modularized. The program can be modularized into smaller parts. Just now I told you, if the large program contains 1 crore lines of code, so if you have 1 crore lines of code, then if you have any mistake in that code, you can't find out. You can't find out the mistakes. If you correct the mistakes, then that is very simple program. But in 1 crore lines of code, where it is happened, where the wrong output is going on from which statement to which statement, you can't find out. So that's why functions are divided. I mean, the entire program can be divided into some different pieces of code, nothing but some smaller parts. So each and every part can place into one specific function to performing some specific operation. So separate function independently can be developed according to the needs. Separate function independently can be developed according to the needs. So that's why these are the benefits. Next one is advantages of using C functions. Advantages of using C functions. So here, working with the functions, so one of the most important reasons you use library functions is simply, library functions are nothing but whatever the common functionality we have, that common functionality functions already have developed and comes with the C programming software. So if you want to use that predefined functions, you just simply include that header file into in your C program which is developing currently, right? So here the best example is #include stdio.h. So that's why I am opening one developer C++ window. Here you have to find out the already predefined functions what we have. Here I am going to show some examples. So here, if you want to print anything, so compulsory the C program contain one main function. So it is mandatory function. Here I want to print one message. So if you want to print one message in the console, for that predefined printf function we have to use. So this means if you want to print anything, printf function you can call now, along with our message. So here I am printing hello world. Hello world is my message. Nothing but it is a common functionality. If you want to print anything, here you just call that function as per our required string along with our required string. So this is predefined function. This function definition is available where, because of it contain the common functionality na. Every time you no need to write the definition, you no need to write the logic for this printf function. Just you can call this function, you can execute with along with our required message. So this message, this hello world message I want to expect as a output in the console. So this message, whatever the message we want, so that message we have to pass as a as an argument along with this predefined function. So this predefined printf function functionality is available where? In this header file. Hash include is the keyword. Now I am going to include that header file, stdio.header file. So this standard input output header file contains the following printf function definition. So that's why you just need to include in our program that predefined header file. So then only this printf function it can work directly, right? So because of this printf function having the common functionality has already developed with the C programming developed people, and this printf function definition is already available in this standard input output library header file, right? If you want to use this function, then simply you can include that header file in our current program. So that is the printf function predefined functions functionality. So like a printf function, scanf function, getch, getchar, getche, putchar. So like that there are number of predefined functions we have. So here the functions are optimized for performance. Because of here the first advantage is what? Here predefined functions. If you have any predefined function with the common functionality, you no need to define again. So the definition you no need to define again. Already this common functionality functions what we have. So those all common functionality functions available in along with C software. So that is also one of the advantage. And second one is what? The functions are optimized for performance. The functions are optimized for performance. Since the functions are standard library functions, a declared group of developers constantly make them better. A declared group of developers constantly make them better because of this already developed, because of it has some common functionality. So if you want to use those functions, your program is very highly optimized for performance. Performance purpose is what? If you use that predefined functions in your program will work with efficient way. Nothing but very fast way it will be executed. So that fastness it will provide by your program optimization by using these predefined functions. It saves considerable development time, since the general function like printing to the screen, calculating the square root and many more are already written. Just now I told you now, if you have any common functionality, there is no change to update for that predefined functions. So those are saving the time, because of if you want to use the C programming language as per your requirement, you need to develop your own logic. But if you have any some common functionality that was already developed with the functions, so that was already provided with the C software. So if they don't want to provide those predefined function with the common functionality, so every time if you want to use the printf and scanf functions, every time you need to write that specific logic for printf and scanf functions. It is very burden and it is also wasting some time. And to avoid all those things, to avoid all those reasons, so compulsory they have already developed predefined functions. We just use in our program. So that's why if you use that predefined functions, you have to I mean, you have saved the time while developing time. You can save the time. And next one is what? The functions are portable. With ever-changing real-world needs, your application is expected to work every time and everywhere also. And these library functions help you in that they do the same thing on every computer. For example, in my computer, I have developer C++ editor. In your computer also, if you have developer C++ container, C++ software, developer C++ software in your system also it is available. So here what is the meaning of portable means, if I write the program, if I have to write the program with number of statements, after writing part is over, now I need to compile that program. Now I need to compile that program. So after compilation is over, immediately you will get one .exe file. So that .exe file you need to execute in my system also, and also as well as it need to execute in your system also. For example, if my system is available in India, if your system is available in some other country, nothing but America. So if you carry this .exe file from here to there, so then it will then also that .exe file is also will be executed at your system in that country also. So nothing but here one place to another place we are carrying that .exe file for execution purpose. So if you place that .exe file in your system, then it will interact with that developer, that editor software. So that predefined functions also it can adapting by that program while executing time. So that is the major concept, the major advantage of functions are used in portable way. And advantages completed, benefits completed, C definition is also completed. Now we have to use defining a function. Defining a function. A function consists of three components. A function consists of three components. What are they? Function header, function declaration list, function body. Function header, function declaration list, function body. Now I want to explain with practical way. So just now here what I am going to show one example. Here int is the data type, add is the function name, and here syntax we need to write now. Syntax here what is the architecture of function? First of all, data type space function name, after that two parenthesis brackets, here parameters, nothing but declaration list, and here function body opening and closing, here statements. This is normal architecture of function. This is the syntax of function. So based on this syntax we can create our functions. Here what are the components we have? A function consists of three components. Nothing but first one is function header. So this is called function header. Now I am down this block and this is called function header, which is I have selected, that is called function header. The function header contains data type, function name, parameters, nothing but declaration list, right? This is function header. Function header. For your understanding purpose, I am writing one comment about the function header. So function header following with the data type and function name and two functional brackets. In between those two functional brackets, the parameters, nothing but declaration list we have. So this is the function header. And declaration list also we have now. So first we have to understand about the function header. A function header contains a type, the function name, and an argument list. Just now I told you na, a function header contains type, function name and arguments list. The type specifier is the type of the data. The type specifier is the type of the data that the function is expected to return. That the function is expected to return. Here the type is what? Actually, after executing this entire function, what is the value it need to be returned? So that related data type we need to mention. For example, here int, if you declare the int here in this space, so the int related values it will be written. Nothing but 10, 20, 30, 101, 151, 3000. So like that. Without the fraction part, it will be written. And if you place the float data type here, then float values it will be written. Nothing but 3.142, 1.569. So nothing but that fraction plot values it will be written after execution completion of this entire program, entire function, sorry. Entire program. The type specifier is followed by the function name. Here the type specifier followed by the function name. So the arguments of the function, if any, are given within parentheses. So within parentheses means functional brackets. This opening bracket and closing bracket is called parenthesis bracket. So here the parameters what we have configured. So in this space those are called argument. Declaration list. Nothing but as an argument list. So here if the function takes no arguments, the parenthesis still must be included. The function header is not terminated by the semicolon. So this is optional. If you have any requirement, then you can use. If you don't have any requirement, simply you can remove. Then the function type and function name parenthesis brackets, and don't give the semicolons here. If you have any block, so here we have the block now, nothing but opening bracket and closing bracket we have. If we have this opening bracket and closing bracket after function name, then you don't give semicolon here, because of if you give the semicolon, this is one statement and this is another statement, it will be treated like that. But if you give the semicolon, it will treat this is one statement, this will give, this can treat it is also one more statement. But if you remove this semicolon here, this block what we have, opening bracket and closing bracket, in between 100 statements if you write, so those 100 statements related to this function name block. Nothing but this entire lines, this entire statements or function statements are related to treat as a single statement, right? Inside number of statement you have to write opening bracket and closing bracket, inside whatever the statements you have written, all those statements you can write like that. So function header is over. Next, declaration list. Declaration list nothing but a function header is followed by a declaration list which declares the type of the argument. So those declaration list is also called formal parameters. Formal parameters. For example, now I am going to use this one. Example is here int is the data type and function name nothing but addition. Addition is the function name. Now I am opening two functional brackets. So in between I am passing the arguments, nothing but declarations, int a comma int b. So these two are a, b are int type parameters. So now I want to open one bracket, here int c equal to a plus b I want to use. So here after execution is over this function, then it will return one value now. So that's why return keyword we need to mention. Here if you use the any data type, instead of using void data type, if you use any one data type, here return statement is mandatory. So here now c value I want to return as a result. So after execution this entire function, after reading this a and b values from the main function, then these two parameters will replace with whatever the values we have passed through the main function. So that values it can be replaced with a and b variables. Nothing but these two are parameters, int type parameters. So inside, after entering into the control to inside that function, here c variable created, int type c variable and e plus b evaluated. After e plus b addition is over, what is the result it will get? that result it will be stored into the C variable. So here return keyword, it will terminate the function, and that C value it will be written to the calling place, right? So just now we have to concentrate about the parameters. Okay, you have to define the parameters like this in between these two functional brackets. So here the data type void may be used for the return type of the function. Where the functions does not return anything, there is no return type. For example, if you use the void data type with the function, void data type with the function. So here opening bracket and closing bracket. Where we have to use the void data type, if you want to create any function, then you can create the void data type. So if you declare the void data type along with function, here return keyword not required because of the function does not return anything. If you know the function does not return anything, then you can declare as a with the void data type along with this function, right? So if you don't have to return anything from the function, so in that case you can declare the void data type to create the function. Okay, so if you want to return some value, so it depends on value, then you can decide the data type to declare the function. So if I want to return pi value, so in that case the type is what? Float. If you want to return a name, so in that case the return type is what? Character array in C programming language. Nothing but next one is what? Function body. After declaring the type of function, function name and formal arguments, a statement or block of statement is placed between the beginning and end braces. Carefully observe here. So this is type, this is function name. In between, if you have any parameters, you can define the parameters. So after that, here opening bracket and closing bracket we have now. This is called one block. So this block, if you don't give any semicolon here, then this complete block belongs to this function only. So nothing but if you have 1000 lines of code in between these two brackets, so this 1000 lines of statements completely belongs to this function only. When you call that function, immediately this 1000 lines of code will be executed at runtime. Nothing but it will be executed along with all those statements. How you can call, and next I will explain. So that is called block, function block, open bracket and closing bracket. So in between, if you have number of statements belongs to that function. So return statement, the keyword returns is used to terminate a function. The keyword return is used to terminate function. So if you write the return keyword inside the function, then after execution of this entire function, and here after return statement you don't have any statements now. So that means when it will read by the compiler this return statement, first it will close the execution of addition function. It will terminate. After that, whatever the C value it has, so that C value it will be returned to the calling place. Return to the calling place. So if you have other statements after this also, if you have other statements after this return statement, so in between the return statement, if you in between the return statement identified by the compiler while executing time, so it will be executed from this for this statement only. After that, the return statement it will terminate by this addition function, and whatever the return statement after return statement, whatever the statement we have, that statement it will not be executed at runtime. So that is the return statement functionality. So that's why always it should be placed at last. Then only the remaining statement it will be executed by itself. So when it will find out the return statement while executing time, immediately the function will terminate. Whatever the value we have configured here, that result value it will be returned to the calling place. The return statement may also be used exit function without returning a value. The return statement may or may not include an expression. And now calling a function. How you call the function? A function gets called when the function name is followed by a semicolon. So here function definition we have written. So this is called function definition. Nothing but type, function name, function parameters, and function body. Function body. When it will be executed, how you can execute that code? So in the main function we have to create in C program now. So inside main function you can call this function like this. So now I am copying and pasting here. So carefully observe, instead of int a into b, here we have declared na, here we need to pass the actual parameters, actual arguments 10 comma 20 we have to pass. So while executing time, the control will create here, while executing time the control will create here, because of from the main function the execution should be start. So it is the first starting point while executing time. Here I am calling the function with the function name only, with the 10 and 20 parameters. So immediately the control will check addition function definition is available or not in this entire page. So here this addition logic is available now. So this addition logic, then 1020 is replaced with a and b. I mean a and b replaced with 1020. Nothing but a and b will replace with the actual arguments. Nothing but 1020 is the actual argument. So a is 10, b is 20. So after that int c equal to a plus b na. So 10 plus 20 is what? 30. That 30 value it can store into the c variable. After that the return statement will close the function, and c variable 30 value it can be written to the calling place. So after coming that return value, I mean after taking that return value, it can transfer it to the calling place na. Nothing but this is calling place. So here you need to store that value na. So that's why here z is the int space z equal to, you need to create this variable. So after execution this function, immediately the control will create and sets that function. The whatever the statement it will be executed, the return statement will transfer to that result value to the calling place. So here the calling place, that result it can store into the z variable. So that is the procedure for the functions, right? So very good. And in this class now I am going to close. Now I want, in the next class I would like to explain about the types of functions. Thank you very much.